Today we're going to have some fun and relax into some botanical sketches. What you'll need is a notebook, a journal, or a sketch pad, anything with blank pages. Or if you don't have something that's bound, you could use a loose piece of paper. So this is just a piece of copy paper. And in terms of size, I would go somewhere between, this is 7.5 by 9.5. This is what I use for my sketchbook. This is 8.5 by 11. This is 9 by 12. And I think these are all really good sizes. Something like this. This is 5 by 8. This is a little bit, I would say this is a little bit on the smaller side. You could do this if this is what works for you, but I would go more towards these sizes here. And then the other thing you'll need is a pencil or a marker or a pen. I prefer to use a pen because it encourages me to be bold and embrace imperfection. What we're trying to do here is just relax into a flow with our sketching. We're not trying to be exact. So the pencil may cause you to want to erase and be perfect, whereas a pen is going to allow you to commit to your mark making. But whatever you choose, whatever feels comfortable for you, that's what you should use. All right, so let's get started. Here I have our botanical inspiration for today. It's winter here now in Connecticut, so this is what I found out in my yard. There's some berries. This is from some fern. And then I also have some pine needles here. So I'm going to lay these out. And you can use these as well for inspiration, or if you want to collect some stuff on your own. What I like to do sometimes with some of my plants is to actually kind of pull them apart. So with these pine needles, I'm going to just pull off some sections here. So I have some different ways to view it. I'm going to move these ones aside because I don't need that. And then I have a nice bunch there. It's my little clusters. And then for the fern, I'm going to pull some of these off because these right there is a nice way to see it as well. And I can even go down even further and pull these off. This right here gives me a lot of ideas for sketching and doodling. And I can look at these, either keep them like that, or maybe I want to pull one little cluster off. And we're not going to be drawing exact, we're just going to be sketching and kind of making a representation of these plants here. I like to use this Unipin fine line. It's a water and fade proof pigment ink. And this is the size I use. You can use whatever you want. If you're more comfortable using a pencil, you can go ahead and do that. And I just pick one to start. And just looking here. And again, I'm not trying to draw anything exact. I'm just using them as inspiration to kind of get moving, just drawing some lines. Sometimes trying to draw without lifting the pen and seeing what that does. just, again, using for inspiration. So maybe I want to do something like the pine needles, but do it wider. Sometimes I just do a whole page of one thing, and I think maybe I'm going to continue that. Just do the pine needles. It's all different directions. Maybe bigger. Be small. And these will just give me some ideas to go back to. So I'm going to move the pine needles aside, and I'm going to take these off, and I'm going to switch over to another page. And I got my berries here. So not thinking too much, and again, not doing anything exact, just getting the essence of these berries on these twigs. Maybe just drawing some single ones. And I'm picking them up and just looking at them. They have little dots on them. Trying it without lifting my pen. Again, doing this one line drawing of the berries, keeping my pen down, letting the lines overlap. Different variations of the berries. Making this nice and thick, maybe coloring them in. Just trying different doodles inside, so doing like a spiral. Just filling the page. Okay, so there are the berries. And then we have the fern as the last sketch. So we have this. And then I pulled some of these off. Separating that. And maybe I want to just start with this one here, or these. I'm just noticing whether they're, so there's all these little seeds. Sometimes they're right across, but these ones seem to be kind of like this. Getting smaller on as we get to the top. So whatever feels fun. Start noticing what marks you like to do. Today I'm liking kind of a scribbly, overlapping. And doing this whole cluster feels a little overwhelming to me. But maybe if I kind of do it, not worrying about being exact, maybe do these first, and then add. Again, not trying to replicate it, just trying to get a representation. try it again. Or maybe just pulling it and seeing. When I pull it, actually look at that. It's pretty cool. They're not breaking off, so that's nice. So they grow all twisted up, but I was able to separate them out, and I see that each of these are right across from each other. And then when I look at the seeds, they're actually more of a diagonal. So let's do it like this. So none of these are meant to be a final sketch. Like I'm not gonna, well, I could frame this, but I'm not planning on framing this or anything like this. This is just in my sketchbook. And what it will do is give me ideas when I'm doing my collages and when I'm maybe looking for doodle ideas within some of the fodder that I create. You know, maybe I use this for inspiration, and then when I'm doing my piece, I'm doing something very neat. You know, see the difference. I'm going really slow here. So that was a total different feel doing that one versus the other ones, but the other ones gave me the experience to go to that. So just keep on exploring. I find myself doing the pine needles here as I was talking. So you can fit all of the different florals on one page if you'd like. And when I want to splatter it with some of the little seeds here. Okay, so I'm finished now. Thank you for joining me for Sketch and Doodle Thursday. And I look forward to seeing you next week where I'll have some more ideas. We might be doing some more botanicals. I really enjoy doing that. I'll just give you a peek at my sketchbook here. Those are the ones we did. And then these are just flowers that I found. There were some peacock feathers in there. So there's a whole book of ideas that I can work from. I hope this inspires you to get out your sketchbook, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.